Hey, it's your boy Elder Rich here, and you're watching Envy's channel.
Welcome back to another episode of Sit Down with Envy in the season 3 edition. Basically just OBL people. Today I have BL Honda Civic. Right, let's kick this ball off. Tell us a bit about yourself, buddy.
Yes, g'day everyone. Yep, I'm Honda Civic. Well, that's how you guys know me as BL Honda Civic. I am team owner and captain of Brisbane Logic. Um, terrorizing bot lanes from the support role down with anime. Um, but I suppose trying to think of something you guys wouldn't know about me necessarily, but I guess I'm not just a massive nerd, although I am a big nerd. I love my sport. I follow lots of sports, and I guess that has sort of got me into that love of competition. I love esports, and I love being able to compete in something like OBL um, and yeah, just have fun that way as well. So yeah, I love my sports. Got plenty of hobbies, but I guess in this environment. I'm a support player. I love my League of Legends, and I've been playing for like since season 2.
Holy old timer, man.
Yeah,
Now, do you have
yeah,
a favorite sport that you like to watch? Is there one that piques your interest more than the others?
yeah. AFL's always been um front and center for me. I've just come off watching Brisbane Lions pump the Essendon Bombers, which was good. But yeah, ever since I think I was 6 years old, um, in 2004, I remember watching us lose the grand final, going for the four-peat. And I remember crying as a little kid. And that was my earliest memory of
Yeah.
being a Brisbane Lions fan. But I've been able to attend the last few grand finals and watch Brisbane get to the grand final 3 times in a row, which is a bit of a bucket list item for me. So yeah, AFL I guess is my main sport.
Yeah, because obviously that's quite big in the Queensland area, the Brisbane part. Um, wasn't a huge fan of it when I was in Australia because I was in Sydney, and like Sydney's a like NRL town. Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Well,
so
it's funny you say that. Like AFL is really growing in Queensland. I think it's um, outside of Victoria the most has the most participation in AFL as a state in
yeah,
Australia, which is crazy because like Queensland's the heart of rugby league. You got your Queensland New South Wales thing.
yes,
That they're the two big um, rugby league
they're the
states. But
pillars.
yeah, but so I still wouldn't say it's overtaken rugby league in terms of popularity here in Queensland, but in Brisbane, um, it's and Queensland wide, it really is growing. But yeah, I mean you're in New Zealand now, right? So
Yep, I am home.
um, yep, you're back home. Shame you don't have Aussie rules in New Zealand. Just
Uh
rugby, really.
Look, I'm gonna get a little bit of flack from this from like the Soltex crew because I know they love a bit of AFL. I don't understand the hype of it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I see like a weird version of football,
yeah.
and but I guess each to their own, right?
Mm.
Everybody's got
And
their
I,
own
and I
thing.
find it really, really hard to understand. Like, if you haven't played AFL, it's like I can really see why it wouldn't make any sense. But once you've played the sport, the appreciation for it is just um, like a whole new thing.
Yeah, right. Now,
But yeah,
the crux of what we're here for.
Yeah. I could talk
Now
about AFL for ages, so let's,
let's wrap
let's
up the
move on.
little
This is not
AFL
an
talk.
AFL podcast.
Someone's sleeping at the wheel on this one. So
Oh, no pun intended, mate. That was a good one.
League of Legends, right? Obviously, we're now in a competitive space, right? The OBL has brought everyone
Mm.
together. The whole new range of faces. So I'm quite interested to hear people's, bringing towards the OBL, as in how did you find out about it? Did you play anything competitive before then? Obviously, the client has stuff like Clash, and that's a lot of people's only like taste of competitive like scene stuff is the in client whatnot. But so just let us know a little bit about how you got here.
Mm. Yeah. Look, the Clash is all right, isn't it? Like me and BL Nike, he's our jungler. He co-founded BL with me. I guess I'd say. Um, and I'll sort of get to that soon. The origin of BL, but we've been for so many years thinking, man, it would be good to have like a amateur league of
Yeah,
League of Legends. Like we considered starting one for ages and didn't know really where to begin and how to get people around it or how we would do it. Like it, you know, as sort of we all know, like there's so many things that you have to make a call on, and lots of people are going to disagree with, and
yeah,
it's a huge thing running a league. But me and Nike had always talked about the fact that like League of Legends is um, at its core um, this team game, and it's so designed that way, but there's no like outlet for it apart from Clash, which is in comparison just so empty because you'll never see that team again probably that you just versed. You don't know anything
no,
about them. They show you a couple of champs they play, but they mix up the names and stuff like it. I don't know. It's all right, but the the game is so like catered towards your team style, getting to know other teams, and different picks that you might want to ban and play around, and um, so that sort of thing had been really on our radar in terms of us wanting to start one, and we just have never known how.
yeah,
But at the end of last year, I saw a Reddit post um, that Fancy had put up about the OBL. I think it was Fancy. And I saw it and I was like, yeah, that's it. Like that's exactly what I want. And I remember thinking at the time, like, yeah, I hope a few people see this. I hope a few people sign up because that'd be really cool. Um, and here we are.
here
There's
we are.
well, we're looking 20. What is it going to be? 26 teams or something in Div 2? Like,
Last
50 plus teams
yeah,
all
over the
all up.
yeah,
Um, and I know there's been other things um, previous to the OBL which I didn't know until talking to different people through the OBL and different names um, that people go, oh yeah, I knew him from this tournament or
yeah,
something like that. Like, um, that's the first I learned that there was an actual amateur scene prior to this. So yeah, in terms of competitive league experience, zero. Like the occasional clash, but um, yeah, that's it. So the OBL's really been what we've been looking for a long
yeah,
time.
yeah. Because it was always kind of like word of mouth traveled.
Yeah.
I remember a few years back, it was on the front page of our like client and OCE, but it was like some sock and stuff like that. But it was never catered towards the low elo players. It was always some sock having the high like the Diamond Plus League and and whatnot. And
Right.
then once the Riot funding went down, because Riot used to fund obviously the Triumphant Riot skin, which was a benefit of playing in these types of tournaments. You had some rules to follow as an organizer to get that. And they'd also shout out RP, like the winning team. So the tournament organizer would put through who won, who came first, second, and third. And then you'd actually get RP show up into your account maybe like 3 months later.
Yeah. Okay.
So like there was a little
So
bit
that was, you're saying that through the front page of the client, was that on the old client,
uh
or was
how
it
long
the
have we had
current
this
one?
one? We've had this one for ages, no? I think it was this one, but it was like old. I'm talking like 2019. And if I look at the client now, I don't even look at half the stuff on it. I just load it into my game. And so potentially I don't think it stayed for very long either.
Yeah.
But they did do a little bit of like branding for it.
Yeah. Interesting.
But it was
So
such a
how did you because you played in stuff before OBL, right?
yeah, I've been around for a very long time.
And so obviously in those discords and stuff there would have been messages like, oh, come check out this like startup
So
thing.
my original one is I was in a Discord with a bunch of my friends, and then someone by the name of Dusty, right? I'm throwing some old names, and this won't be a very long tangent because people are sleeping right now as I go through this tangent. He joined. He invited people to a Discord server called BS5, which was like the original old one. And so I joined through that. They were running in houses on like a Friday night, and I was like, oh my god, this is around 2017. I hadn't played in anything like this. It was just mainly solo queue and stuff with my friends. I was about
Yeah.
silver, goldish at the time. And when I moved to Oz, I dropped out of playing as much. And so I ended up, still hanging around, playing a couple in houses every now and again. And so that ended up correlating into some people like BSV Josh. They ended up taking over the concept of the server, and they formed their own one around the same premise, but instead of just the in-houses, it would actually be tournaments. And so we start through that. They start running the tournaments. They have the Twitch streams. They do the graphics. They do all of that and coincide. And then next thing you know, another tournament organizer pops up because they've seen this one work. They want to do their own thing. So at one stage, there was a Iron to Plat weekly or Iron to Gold weekly, which was just a single round robin, like bracket. So you lose, you're out, type deal. And
Yeah.
on some of the nights, you might get 20 something teams show up, and this is like peak 2019, 2020, and you might play 5 games in the one night. Then there
That's
was some
solid,
weak
hey. Like
nights.
for that low elo range, that's a good amount.
Yes. And so you'd play until you lose, basically, and if you won, you won. And I remember my first few, I would actually get quite nervous
Yeah.
because it's like it's just different than solo queue, and
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
even just playing on a stream is also different because people are watching you.
For sure. There's something there's something about playing a game that matters,
Yeah,
even though it doesn't matter in that way, but it more than any other game you play, it's like, all right, I really want to do well here.
yeah,
And it's so different to like a scrim if you're trying things out or whatever, or clash when you're wanting to win, but you're probably just up against some smurfs that will
yeah.
roll you in the last game. Like, yeah, there's that. I know that feeling that you're talking about of like, oh, I'm playing like
Like this is
got
match
10
day.
people watching.
Yeah.
It's nothing, but that's you know, you
Because
know how critical viewers are.
yeah, and so back then it was just like you had that big game feel, especially when you'd start matching into the same teams like 3 nights a week because it was like the same people playing in every single tournament. And so you'd start having games where you beat them on the Tuesday, and then their draft changes when you play them again on the Friday, because they might ban the stuff that you beat them with on the Tuesday. And so
Yep.
even just the adaptation from people, and you
Yep.
start making friends. Some of my closest people were in my like teams way back when. Like if you half of the Div 2 players who have been around a long time, I've probably played with them on a team at some stage. Because like I was a little bit of a team whore back then. Because I was some people called me uncoachable. Weird, I know,
Oh
but
yeah, I would never
have guessed that one.
guess that in, but yeah.
Yeah. So obviously Live Grenade, who is Agrahar's 80 carry. I played on a team with him for a little bit, and then the other day I said to Agrahar, I was like, "Oh, he's waited way too many points for his skill level." Ran into him in solo queue that same day and lost the game. I was tilted.
Yeah. That's what you get, hey.
Yeah. So obviously, OBL, your first like real tournament space that you've been a part of. So
That's right, yeah. It is, and like you said, it is it is really fun to be able to look at a team and be like, oh yeah, their top laner plays, you know, this champ, and
yeah,
you know, is it, do we ban it? You know, just that's that sort of thing. It's wild to me that League of you know, imagine, I just imagine playing some social sport like soccer. Imagine going out there just never, like, I guess League of Legends is like pickup sport. You
yeah,
just go out there. You never played with these guys. You don't know what they can do. You don't know what the enemies can do, and you're so reliant on your team, but yet you're so like powerless at the same time. So yeah, this sort of format is just um, it's it's so fun, and yeah, I reckon it's the most fun I've had playing League for sure, and I've been playing since season 2, so it's taken a while, but you know, at least we're here.
we're
We're
here
here
now.
now, so
Yeah. So then coming into the OBL, obviously the split one, you decided, you know what, I'm gonna get more involved, right? Like I don't want to just be a passenger on this bus. I plan on being someone up the front shouting from the rooftops. Tell us a little bit about
yep.
the newsletter and or the podcast, or both at the same time.
Yeah, so the idea of the Civic Press was like, I suppose the OBL like staff admin, they were looking for more people, and so they were just sort of talking to a bunch of people um to see, you know, what they could contribute, and I was sort of, you know, just start, this was, yeah, prior to any games being played, but all the organizing and stuff, um as a team captain, was already taking up enough time. I was like, oh, I'd like to I'd like to be more involved, but I don't see myself having the time to um have any like staff obligations, I suppose. But
Yeah,
I remember talking to Chef, and I was like, you know, what I really like doing is just being more of a, like, I guess, hype guy, or just someone who um I don't know, brings interest to different parts of the league, and so Chef really liked the idea of having, you know, having someone that does that, and he just sort of told me, oh yeah, do your thing, and um that'll be good. So yeah, they just sort of gave me the freedom to do that, and that the idea of that is just because I really like the concept of the OBL being a competitive way to play structured league, like we've been talking about, but
yeah,
at the same time, like, it's we're we're not good at this at this game. Like none of us are that great. We're doing it for a bit of fun, and like the idea is to get amongst it. So
Yeah.
I try to bring out the stories and the narratives of different teams and um, different players, and I try to focus more in that grassroots style of of journalism, I guess, of like um, no one's that flashy at the game, so we've got to
We have to be the soap
um,
opera.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Um,
Like the
and
wrestling.
that's sort of my style. Yeah, soap opera is a way to make it like a lot more dramatic and serious than it really is, and to really build it up into this big, you know, over dramatic thing. Whereas we're just playing league, so
Yeah.
pretty poorly. But so that's something I've enjoyed doing, and I've got some pretty good responses throughout the season from that. I think people, and yeah, I genuinely think people enjoy learning about teams, and learning about the people behind the teams, and um, they sort of form their identity that way, and
Yeah.
I think that's good for the competition to sort of, and this is sort of my other one of my views is like um, when you get to know a little bit more about the people behind the names, it becomes a lot more interesting, and I think a lot more cohesive. Like, it's easy to see your name on the screen and think A, B, or C about them, but I don't know, when you learn some details about them, it's like, oh yeah, that's that's a real person. You know what I mean?
I do.
Um, so yeah, I don't know, that's something I like about um, the Civic Press. It's sort of about the stories, and yeah, all the different personalities and things you have in a group like this.
Yeah. Because like all you need to do is you want to build hype for players. Because obviously you did a piece on Kickman, right? I remember
Yeah,
reading
yeah, that was
slash
my
listening to
first
that.
Kickman and RAF R4F.
Yeah.
That was my first podcast. Yeah.
And then so obviously whoever read that and watched like listened to that was, oh my god, we need to look out for this Kickman guy. Let's see how he's doing, right? Good or bad, and then you can pay attention to him because we've shined the spotlight onto something that otherwise wouldn't have gotten any spotlight.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. It's about and I try to be pretty impartial on it. It'd be easy to go after the names that sort of stick out and are a bit more, the
Well
people that
known.
are a bit more active in chat. Yeah, the
Yeah.
well-known ones. But I try to um be a bit impartial to that and try to get some of the lesser known teams to be known, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Because not everyone's sitting around typing in general all day. Um, but yeah, I think it adds something cool when when you learn some of the funny stuff like what was the I did some like Div 1 teams as well. So there was like the poo crew.
Yeah.
that that was and it was really funny for me to, talk to different teams and learn about their sort of origins and stories, how they sort of became a team together, and different. You sort of got the classic like, oh yeah, we're a group of friends that came across this, or oh
Yeah.
yeah, we met playing Clash or something. Just like
Yes.
just
Everyone's got an
funny
origin
sort of
story.
things like that. Yeah,
Everyone has where they came from. Obviously some
yeah,
people's are
it's been
more
good.
interesting than others, right? Like, my team formed basically just off of ah, Trent, you don't want to come play on my team, so I guess I have to go get someone else. And then it's like, oh, Cat Slayer and Pritz. Oh, that's a bot lane I wouldn't mind playing with because I have history playing with them, and I owe them at least one tournament win because the last time we had Soltex on our team, we lost the tournament. So we removed Soltex, and now we win this one. So Soltex is the problem. That's game
Yeah, I
of
mean,
math.
it hasn't even started, man. Like, you know, calling it a bit early, I'd think, I'd say, but
Game of math, man. So obviously, I'll end up talking till the cows come home about how my team formed. I want to hear
mm,
about yours because I've heard through the little grapevine that you guys all know each other personally.
yeah,
It's not just game of friendships; it's more than that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, um, it's a long story. That's why I'm like, oh, where do I begin? I guess from the beginning, BL started when we were in high school. Me and Nike, and BL didn't always mean Brisbane Logic. It's had to adapt over a few years. But originally, when we were in high school, um, League of Legends was really popular
Yep.
at my high school. Um, Me and my friendship group, we were like the music captains at school, and well, or the band leaders, right? And we called our group the banter leaders, because that was we thought that was funny. Um, and so, and most of us played League. So, so those of us who did play League of Legends, we, um, did that sort of cringe thing you do when you're at school, and you make a team and you put a little tag in front of your name. So we were BL for banter leaders.
And it's still there.
Um, so that's how it began. So I was I was BL funk originally. I think funk was my first one because I love funk music. Um, and so that's what BL started 2015 um, at school. And there was another friendship group at school that we were mates with, and they had 5 people that played League, and we were trying to like get a game going. Like, oh yeah, banter leaders versus Team Schweppes, you guys. They didn't have a team. They were not even interested, but we were.
Yeah.
Um, we were just trying to get it happening. Um, and a year after school finished, we ended up having a game, and we basically hyped it up for a year, and then we finally got a game played, and we won. Um, which yeah, so that was like the formation of BL, which stood for banter leaders originally. But over time, like post school, BL didn't mean anything. But we would go into game, and I would still have BL in my username.
Yeah.
Every time we'd get into a game of League, people are like, what does BL stand for? And for the last 10 years, the joke has just been to type in anything. Just it doesn't have to start with a B or L. Um, like billiards table. Bernard Fanning was my go-to.
Yeah.
Um, Whatever. We would just type like BL didn't stand for anything, right? But we've always just been BL. Like me and my mates and our Discord, which has like probably 10 plus people with the name BL. So if you ever come across like another BL person, um,
Blame them.
you know, there's lots of them. You might come across them in solo queue or whatever in norms. There's there's heaps that they'll be associated, but they just don't play in the OBL. Um, but yeah, when we joined the OBL, I sort of had to figure out what BL would stand for, and so I liked Brisbane Logic as a sort of counter logic gaming
Yeah.
adjacent thing. So but yeah, that sort of brings us to when I heard about the OBL. Um, and like I said, I had a Discord with heaps of mates that play it, and so it wasn't just like there was 5 of us and it was easy to sort of go, oh, okay, we'll just do this team. There was a lot of us. So I heard about the OBL and I was like, I messaged my mates who we'd played as a 5-man recently, and we'd scrimmed against like some of my other mates.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we should enter a team into this. And then I opened up to my other mates, and they weren't too keen, but yeah, had to figure out what BL stood for. So we went for Brisbane Logic, but then yeah, the 5 that we've ended up with, Nike was there at school at the beginning of it. Bronson's my brother.
Yeah.
Owen's my cousin. And Anime's my mate. So it was sort of yeah, we all know each other personally, like in this Discord I have, and that's sort of always something we wanted to maintain, was like, we're doing this because it's fun to do it together. We wouldn't split off and do our own team sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna play together, whether we're in Div 1 losing every game or Div 2 actually competing. So yeah, it's a bit of a long story, but BL is a bit of a I suppose it's a little bit of a bigger thing than just like the 5 that we've
The 5 that are
of the
here.
main roster. But yeah, it's and as a sort of collective, we're able to we've done some pretty cool things. Like, we went to Korea
Yeah.
for Worlds 2023, although that was only me and Nike from the OBL were on that trip. So we had 4 other mates there, but they're not in the team. But anyway, yeah, that's probably where I'll stop that. But that's how
Yeah.
BL's sort of been going on for 10 years, I guess, in summary, but has taken a new shape in the OBL.
Right. So you enter your team, right? Obviously under the point cap. Now, split 1 starts. Now, during the split 1 start, I'll be honest, I was like, Div 2, who, they wouldn't let me in. I'm not watching very much of this, because at the start I wasn't, because I was invested in some of the teams in Div 1, and so I didn't catch how the split started. Obviously, I start coming in around like the midway point, because like I started doing some of the co-watchings. Locks was like, come watch Push, because he was coaching the team at the time. And then I think you came and watched a Div 1 game with me at some stage. So just run me back on how the early parts of the split happened.
Yeah, well, yeah, early on was it was fun. I mean, I remember looking at the spreadsheet of all the teams and just thinking, like, who are these guys? Like, I got no idea who any of these teams are.
Yeah.
They were just names. And it's pretty cool now when you look at the teams, and it's like you seem to know all the names really well by now, even just after one split. But yeah, I remember looking at it and being like, oh, I think we're like, it's hard to know, but we were pretty confident that we were up there as one
Yeah.
of the better teams, but also really inexperienced in terms of 5v5, like, structured stuff. And it
Yeah.
became pretty evident, like, oh, a lot of these guys actually like scrim and seemed to have played a fair bit, and so first 2 weeks, Anime was away in China, obviously boot camping, and yeah, we thought that would be a good way for him to
Make his debut.
spend a bit of time. Get his ADC mechanics up to scratch. So first week we're versing Push, and
Yep.
a complete, just a fumble of the bag, that one. The frustrating thing, we had a sub organized, and we were under the impression that that sub had been approved for the match, because we had scrimmed with that sub against Team Push that week.
Yeah.
But we were sort of told just before the game that he wasn't approved. And I think it was a rank thing.
Yeah.
Which made sense. Like the ruling made sense, but the communication around it was just tricky, and we were scrambling to find, like this is week one, we're scrambling to find a
player.
a player,
And
a sub,
also,
and
yeah, it'd be much harder because you, again, at this point, you don't know people, right?
yeah,
So it's
no,
much harder to scramble.
yeah, and yeah, that's right. And so we got one of our mates who doesn't play ADC, and hadn't played in over a year. So he hadn't even, I think he'd played a few games on the previous season, but this was his first game going into the new season. So we're like loading into the game, and we're like, oh yeah, these fairy lights now. Oh yeah, this is a new item, and different things that he's finding out about.
Yeah.
In game, he's like, what, the minions are already here? He's a jungler as well, so he's out of his depth there. So we come close to winning that, but we lose game 3 pretty close. Which looking back, it was just like crazy that we came close to winning that. But yeah, our I think then we lost week 2. I'm trying to, I think that was against Stormwolves team, or Ball Drills, I think it was Ball Drills. No, it wasn't Ball Drills, because we had Anime for Ball Drills.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we started off really shaky, like we weren't getting 2-0'd. We usually were getting to game 3, but like our ability to make a team comp, or know what we're playing for, was just so bad. We were just playing stuff we liked. And I think we could see improvement as the split went on, but we never felt like we performed on stage what we knew we could, if that made sense. Like every time a series would end, would just be like, man, that's just not how we play. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, that was really disappointing.
That
We
wasn't
never
us.
really,
Yeah.
we just never felt like we played to our potential. And but we knew we just need to get into finals, and we'll be there at the pointy end. Like we were like, yeah, we're a top 4 team. We had, our scrims were going good. We had Stormwolves there. We had their number in scrims, but on stage they had us. And so basically we felt like we weren't playing to our potential, but we just need to get to finals. And then first round of the finals, we have to verse Ball Drills.
Which was the Agraha team.
Yeah. And um, absolutely the 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 hard team out of the quarters to verse. But we thought, oh, we got this, we got it.
Yeah,
But
we take them.
it
Yeah,
turned out we needed like our mid laner was away that weekend, and I was also away that weekend, so we needed um, and honestly, the timing for that game was a whole thing for us because and yeah, it comes down to bad communication stuff. That there wasn't any like nights that they were available that week,
yeah.
and I was
Skip the
like, oh,
weekend.
it's no, they weren't available at nights, any of the things. But we were like, all right, we can do like Sunday Arvo,
Yeah,
um, and then we'd agreed on that time, and then um, one of our players is like, oh, I'm gonna actually be away in that time, and I'm like, oh, all right, I'll see if we can
reschedule.
get another time. And by that point we'd agreed on something, so they had made plans
Yeah, so you're
and
locked into that time. Yeah,
yeah, we were locked into that time, which we were just like, oh man, it was a little bit hard, like considering they weren't offering us any nights of that week. But
yeah,
anyway, so we had to play with the mid lane sub, who was just one of our mates that we picked up again, who didn't play mid and didn't play much league. And so yeah, it was just
a rough one.
it was a rough one. But so we lost that quarterfinal, but it was ultimately a very fun split that I think I would summarize by saying we never showed what we could do, I think, if
Yeah,
that made
you
sense.
never
Like,
unlocked the door and walked
yeah,
through it.
every like, you know how sometimes like things click and things line up like that. It just felt like that never happened for
Yeah,
us, apart from one game against Storm Wolves. Um, but yeah, we would, yeah, that was good. But
yeah.
so
So
split one was a good learning for us.
yes. So coming into split two, then obviously
Mm.
BL dropped the announcement video of who was on the roster, the very first one, setting the trend for that as well. So obviously, because of all the hiccups in, well, actually this person can't play. Then it's like, so you've actually gone and signed some substitutes, right, alongside of your starting roster, because the starting roster is the exact same, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yep, yeah.
Yeah.
Starting roster's unchanged. Yeah.
But obviously we then brought in, former finalist Dax. Um, Now the 80
Yep.
carry is the one that was on Trap Team, if I remember
Yep.
correctly. So he did win. And up until 2 days ago, you had former finalist Kickman.
That's right.
Um, so obviously signing some pretty heavy hitters from Split One onto the
Mm.
roster, and then so obviously going into Split Two, feeling a little bit more confident, right? A little bit more time to gel together as a 5 stack, and with your subs coming in for games, I presume.
Yeah, that's and something I'm really focusing on with Brisbane Logic, I suppose, as team owner and captain, is being really intentional about um, wanting the people that we play with to be people that we like,
Yeah,
and sort of bringing if we bring people in, um, it's sort of like the the ranking of things I'm looking for is likability and then actual ability, if that makes sense.
yeah,
I don't really care how good they are. It's more so if we like them. So uh, and yeah, we didn't get to know a lot of people in the first split, but a few, and you know, and these were guys that I felt like we got to know decently, and we got along well with. We'd been talking to them, and they expressed how they didn't want to put the time into be on a you know
Starting
main
roster.
roster. Yeah, so and I was like, oh well, it'd be great to have some subs, just to have you guys around, um, slowly getting more numbers so we can grow our pool of players, do in houses, and just start growing a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, that's been really fun, and it was fun making that video because it's like um, your team's trying to build a brand, and you're trying to um, I don't know, create something that will last a bit. Um, and so yeah, it was like it felt a bit um, like it looked a little bit bad on BL when um, Kickman leaves 2 days. Well, yeah, it was on Friday. And I've done this big hype video on how like Kickman's keen to join BL,
Yeah.
and now he's like leaving to fair enough to say our rival team. You guys are probably our rival team. You like rustling the feathers. You like talking the talk. You know what I'm saying?
All I'm saying is, without leaking the scrims, I did walk that walk.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. You guys cleaned us up in scrims. Um. And yeah. So it that was like that was it's hard to know how to say how to say that, but it was frustrating because um, I was looking forward to having those subs,
Yeah.
um, but it's happened. At the end of the day, I sort of got to remember, we're here to play some games, and um, if Kickman all of a sudden did want to play on a main roster, then um, I shouldn't stop him. I shouldn't stop him doing that. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock to me. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to Split 2 um, and how we're like growing as a team,
Yeah.
um, and how Dax and Hackwas are going to be able to um,
Help you guys get
help
there.
us in different scenarios.
Yeah,
And
because
I hope
you.
Kickman goes well for you guys as well. I mean,
Yeah.
will I be circling our matchup on the calendar? Like heck yes.
Heck yes.
I'm yeah. I'm
Yeah.
you got. I mean, yeah. You guys have easily the best bot lane in Div 2, and that's
And best mid.
yeah.
What the hell? How we not? I'm getting shot here.
Sure,
I lost
surely. I
lane
mean,
to Fancy one time, man.
yeah. Honestly, yeah. Honestly, couldn't care about
Ah,
couldn't care about mid, but
thanks. Appreciate it.
the bot. You guys will be playing around your bot side, and that's something I'm really interested to see how um, teams play against. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how we match up, because I yeah, you're the only bot lane that I'm actually like intimidated by. I guess I should say.
There's
So
no
looking forward to it, mate.
other bot lane that you're worried for.
Not that I know of.
Yeah,
There are other players I like and respect, but I reckon typically the Div 2 style is a very tame bot lane. You know what I mean? Lots
yeah,
of Sivers and Karmas and Seraphines and Ezreal. Like there's a lot of just sit back and try to nullify things happening and getting
yeah,
to the late game, which is sad, but like Cat Slayer is just good enough that when he gets to his 3 items, it's like it's over. So
yeah.
um, I don't think there's like yeah, I wouldn't say there's other ADCs around that are just
Yeah. Because
yeah as good as that.
there are AD carries who can get the same lead. And this is something I've said to my top laner, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, because he's like, oh, how come we never gank top? Why can't we play up there? And so like there are scrim games where we've given him certain picks that he's wanted to play, which is like chill. Hey, I don't mind if you run it down in a couple of scrim games. I've done a few, and so what I've said to him, and like I think this goes for even in solo queue and just in terms of like League of Legends, is if you get given the resources, so if we invest time into you getting a lead, you're now responsible for winning us the game because
Yeah, for
we've put
sure.
the resources to you, right? You don't get to then chain feed it away because you're like, oh, I can 2v1 here, I'm the man, and then turns out you can't because you've misstepped, and then our lead goes down and plummets. It's just really good that we have the insurance policy of, Cat Slayer just vibing down in the bot lane, getting this farm, getting the CS, and then when he hits those item power spikes, it becomes get down, Mr. President. Everyone in front of Cat Slayer, no one gets to him, and that's the kind of style we've kind of been playing. It's just the natural style of League of Legends for us.
Yeah, that's right, and it's really like me and Anime, we love being aggressive and we love punishing we love punishing bot lanes, but um yeah, sometimes it's just hard to do and I yeah and yeah like you say, it's um when it gets to that stage of the game where like yeah, you got to choose who your win con is, and
Yeah.
if you're ganking top, yeah, like you say, you're saying you're going to be our win con.
Yes, you must win me the game if we're putting these
Yeah.
resources to you.
Um. So yeah, I reckon. Yeah. All that to say, like I think me and Anime are like really solid bot lane.
Yeah,
We pretty much win most of our lanes, and we're not we're probably not great at turning those leads into
the more.
leads on the map, but yeah, it's just something. Yeah, it's something I've got my eye on this split. Like, you know, how am I going to beat this farming playing for late style bot lane?
Yeah,
So yeah, that's sort of what I'm focusing on. Split 2. Um,
because there are ways, in my opinion, to do it. Obviously, I'm not gonna leak what I'm thinking about it because I'm not giving people the blueprint to beating my own team. That would be really,
yeah,
really stupid. It's just we then have to work on not allowing people to play that style. So I've been putting in a bit of work on certain champions because knowing how the mid meta played out in Split One, right? It was a lot of Victor, it was a lot of Oriana, there was a bit of like Lissandra
man,
type
yeah, Div
field.
2. As much as I love Div 2 and everyone wants to be Div 2, I did not expect it to be so meta slavey. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like Div 1's pulling out whatever they want just because they're good at the game, but down in Div 2, what we're just
I
like
I think
it's so boring.
they are the easiest champions to like go neutral in, and
Yeah, that's right.
so you have the ability just to like get out of the laning phase. Whereas if you're playing something like a Silas, like an Akali, it's on you to make your own lead, and if you don't make your lead, you'll kind of just on a worse spot than the Victor if you both hit 3 items, depending on how you play the fights. Um, I've always said to my mates, it's like, oh, how do I climb solo queue? It's like, well, easy to execute champions, put less burden on you. I'd
Yeah,
much rather. I'd think that the Annie main and gold would climb faster than the Yasuo main if they're both the same skill level, because you
yeah,
don't have as
that's
many mistakes you can make.
yeah. I I agree. And I know that's why it happens. It's
Yeah,
smart, but it was just like, huh.
yeah. So I
So
think a lot of those mid laners who are still playing, their feathers are gonna get rustled a little bit. Um, Now most of my scrims and like my champion picks have already been leaked. Plus, I'm still playing them in solo queue. I've picked up Lysandra, right, and that is typically a counter to Akali. Now, there's only one Akali player I know in Div 2 so far, but just having the ability to play it so you can't play it is another factor. I ran into because Council of Josh is now down in Div 2,
yep,
right? And
yep,
I'm not like I'm a man to admit it. I blind picked 2 of the 3 games, and they were champions that you typically do not blind pick, right? But I was like high horse, ego, like what do you got? I'm gonna play this, and you have to beat me. And I got my fucking ass handed to me both games. Even just in the pure isolation because the matchups were like that rough on paper, and I didn't play it well enough. Now I am carryable, and so we got to the mid to late game. Fixed my score in one of the games. The other game was it was way too bad, and we still ended up winning the set. But to me, that's a lesson now going into playing them in more scrims or official games. I can't take that ego shot and blind pick that champion, knowing they
yeah,
have the counter ready in isolation.
yeah,
But
yeah. That makes sense.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
Obviously,
man, split two. It's good.
my podcasts are back. Probably covering more Split 2 than Div 1. More Div 2 than Div 1. I'm not obviously outside of like a few players and a few teams who I will support, like Soltex's team when they play. Or I don't think Braden's playing anymore, but that's a name who I'm kind of hanging out with. Wrangle, shout out to Wrangle, Locks. Those players I will watch. They're the ones who are active in the community, like kind of yapping a bit, but not yapping for like no reason. They yap with intent. So, did you have anywhere you wanted to take this before we end off the podcast? Anything to say?
That's a good question. Do I have anything?
Did you want to throw out we're gonna be top 4 in Div 2? You don't want to leave a bold prediction out there.
I think BL. I think we haven't. I think we haven't shown what we are capable of yet. Um, as I've sort of already been speaking about, I think I'm sort of balancing that with also there's like 20 new teams that I
Yeah.
don't know. You know what I mean? So
Well, that's where you
there
just
could be,
put your hand on
and
your heart and
the
say it anyway.
caps. Yeah, well, I'm a realist. Like, you know what I mean? It's hard for me to throw out things like that because
Yeah.
there's that thing in my mind that's like, look, you might not be as good as you think. But I think I think we'll be there at the pointy end of the split.
Yeah.
I think I think I wouldn't be surprised if we win in the final with you guys. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
As
surprised.
in the final, as in the bracket, or as in grand final?
Grand final
Grand final. So you're top two.
wouldn't surprise me.
Okay.
But it also
I
wouldn't
was gonna say
surprise
top
me
eight.
if we're 8th.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me either. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many unknowns right now, but I think the other unknown is just like I know that as a team, like we're just far less available than other teams
Yeah.
that play in the OBL. Um, we we try to practice once a week together, um, and then have the Sunday night games. But so we're busy and hopefully, like I'm hoping that we'll be able to get more practice together. But also don't know how that will look like this split. So, um, but yeah, I guess I guess I can see a reality where it's like, oh, we actually get a fair bit of practice. We get a lot of time with our coach. We improve a lot. We make the grand final. Then see what happens.
Yeah.
But I also see like a reality where, um, we get pretty busy and we lose a lot of three gamers like last split and come 8th or something. But um, nonetheless, we're gonna be riding it together as a team. We're gonna be having a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be trying to pump out a lot of content and cover a lot of teams and get to know a lot of the new faces, I guess, in Div 2.
Yeah. Because I'm, just on the topic of that, and then we'll wrap it up. I am, as the former captain of Feline Friends, I'm very happy to give you Dorito Dan as the Feline Friends representative for any kind of content you wish to make with him. He is our new captain, my boy. That's our top laner.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize you weren't the captain no more.
I got usurped. Something about, oh, you never want to scrim every single night. This is a problem, and then they gave it to someone else. I was like, okay, fair. But in my heart of hearts, we're all captains, except Catslayer.
Well, there's yeah. Look, I've delegated scrim captain, scrim organizer to Owen.
Yep.
Um, that just happened. I mean, it wasn't a intentional thing. That's just happened. But and so that's part of being a leader, mate. You got to delegate things, um, that's fine. But yeah, good to know that for official feline friends matters, I should go to
Dorito
can
Dan.
you Dorito Dan.
Dorito Dan. He is your guy. That's my top laner.
Well, that sounds good. Dorito Dan, if you're listening, I'll be in contact with you, and we'll probably see each other a fair bit this split on the Rift.
Right. Thank you, Honda Civic, for coming to this episode of Sit Down with Envy. Appreciate your time. And again, at
Absolutely.
at
Thanks
some
for having me,
stage,
Matt.
if the Swiss allows it, we will play you guys. I know I was talking to Owen about a show match before the actual event starts. I don't know if he hit you up about this or not, but
Yeah,
if we get that going, there's more content for the league. But everything's up in the airs. Someone has to sign the contract to make it happen, and I will
it's
catch you on
yeah,
the
it's
rift.
true. I feel like it's gonna be rigged to have us matching up against each other in round one. Which I wouldn't mind getting you guys out of the way early, and then we'll meet you back in the finals. But
Of course.
um, whatever happens, we can't avoid each other forever, and look, I'm looking forward to it. We got a long weekend here in Queensland. I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna put in a lot of work this weekend. And Cat Slayer, if you're listening to this,
He's
yeah, you better watch out.
holy, he'll be watching. Right,
Yep, he'll be shaking in his little boots.
his little paws.
Yep, little claws are. Well, I don't know what Cat Slayer, but yeah,
Right, peace
yeah,
out.
his little. Catch you guys.